Concede they remained at a distance because those involved in the brawls appeared to be willing participants, and there was no threat to the general public. It's been 6 years since lead-contaminated water flowed from Flint, Michigan taps, causing rashes, illnesses, lead poisoning, and perhaps worse. Now State Attorney General Dana Nessel says $600 million will be distributed to over 33,000 Flint water crisis victims under terms of a settlement announced last week.
Justice is coming for those who have waited a very long time for it, and that anyone who is criminally accountable will be held responsible.
Officials say 30 people who attended the Sturgis motorcycle rally now have coronavirus, and this is USA Radio News.
While you have free time and you're sitting at home and you ponder what kind of gifts to buy for someone, PictureDepot.com has you covered from puzzles, games, novelty items. If you're looking for some unique style items when it comes to the president, for more you can check out PictureDepot.com. Call 844-377-8052. That's 844-377-8052 or PictureDepot.com. Use promo code USA.
President Trump will have to pay more than $44,000 in legal fees to Stephanie Clifford, otherwise known as Stormy Daniels. Clifford's legal expenses came from when she tried to get out of a non-disclosure agreement around her alleged affair with Donald Trump between 2006 and 2007. A California Superior Court judge issued the order this past week, stating that Clifford was entitled to being reimbursed and Mr. Trump was responsible for covering those fees. A Russian opposition leader who many suspect was poisoned has left Russia and now is being treated in Europe, as we hear from USA Radio's Wendy King.
An emergency medical plane carrying Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny arrived in Germany so he can receive treatment for a mysterious condition. He's a fierce critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and he was put into an induced coma after taking ill. His spokeswoman said doctors believe he was poisoned.
Some have claimed Russian doctors kept Navalny in Russia for several days so that the poison could get out of his system before he was released. And today, it's, well, not Memorial Day, but it is Indy 500 race day later this afternoon at the Brickyard. On TV, but without fans in the stands. And you can find us online anytime at usaradio.com. That's usaradio.com, and for USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the September 23rd edition of Middleboro in Review, the second to last Sunday in August, as we are moving closer to September, which means we're moving closer to fall in a few weeks' time. Meteorological fall, or meteorological winter starts pretty soon in the next couple of weeks and months as we move closer to September, October, and the fall months. So it's a pretty nice day out. No clouds in the sky that I can see this morning. I didn't notice any. But let's check the weather. So right now is 63 degrees in Middleboro. It is very foggy this morning. It was foggy coming in. But it will be 90 degrees this morning, on this day. Not this morning, but on this day it'll be 90. 91 on Monday, 92 on Tuesday. So the next couple of days will be hot. However, we will have a little bit of rain as well accompanying those 2 days. So maybe it will cool things down a little bit. And it won't be as hot as the last heat wave that we got. But we're going to say real quick good morning to Don.
Good morning, Joe. How you doing on this cloudless Sunday?
It's pretty nice
I
out.
don't see any clouds in the sky, do you?
I don't either. I really don't.
Oh, not really.
I didn't notice any.
You know what I am noticing, which is a drag, it is getting darker earlier.
Yeah, I do notice that as well. I do notice
8
that
o'clock,
quite a
you know,
bit.
Yeah, 7:30, you're starting to see the sun go down. And it's usually at the end of August. You notice that. In both ends, too, in the morning and in the evening. So, you do notice it in September, big time. But I really started noticing it a week and a half. Even though it's mathematically, you lose, a certain amount of minutes,
Yeah.
and you just luck it out, but it's in your mind, you're not thinking, you're not counting down the minutes every day, saying, okay, I lost 3 minutes tonight on sunlight, but you really start to notice it. Just
Yeah.
like in February, you start to notice the days getting longer. It's usually like mid-February. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Taunton, right now, 62 degrees with a high of 90. And as Paul Lazarovich said yesterday, probably the only station that gives weather for the towns that have the last name of the host. And that last name is Driscoll. And Driscoll, North Dakota is 63 degrees right now, 88 for the high today. So it's going to be pretty warm there. 94 on Tuesday. So we were expecting some hot days in Driscoll, North Dakota. In Driscoll, Texas, clear with periodic clouds, 74 degrees at the moment, 94 degrees for the high, and we're expecting some rain today as well. A little bit of a chance of rain in Driscoll, Texas. So, let's start off with a quick update of the new high school. So, I went by the new high school this week, and it looks really good. They are finishing up, or I believe they're finishing up, the outside of the school. Doesn't seem like there's much left to do with the new high school when it comes to the outside of the building. I have not seen the inside. I'm sure there's quite a bit more to do before it opens in February. And that got moved from late January, so it got pushed back a month due to some delays with coronavirus. So the construction completion got moved about a month, but it really looks like the outside is, if not at completion, very close to being at completion. Your thoughts, Don, on this?
I saw the school too. I drive by it almost every day, and it's a beautiful school. It's really nice. They're doing a really nice job on it. Like you said, the outside constructions, they're buttoning that up, which is good. I mean, we still got we still got up to October for good outside weather, but come November, it's a little chilly to be doing outside construction. I'm not saying November's really bad, but you got everything buttoned up and get the inside construction done. That moves fast. That should move really fast.
If they're able to button up the outside, I think they've already they're very close.
Yeah, they're close. I'm thinking they're just doing some windows.
Yeah.
Looks to me. I mean, it's pretty much done at the outside. So.
Then be able to move the construction inside and the
Well,
weather.
I bet they're doing work inside too, as we speak too.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet they're doing the plumbing, the electrical. That's getting done.
Yeah.
And then they can start working on the classrooms and bring in the sheetrock guys and plasters and painters, finish guys.
Yeah.
Wrap that up and probably come January, end of December, January, they'll probably be finished and up touches, they call punch list stuff, and get everything wrapped up. And then they got to move all the desks and equipment in too. That's gonna be an undertaking too.
That's gonna take some time.
Moving
as well.
day, right?
Yeah, moving day is gonna take some time as well.
I know. We were talking about the school and how Central Junior High in Quincy, and this is we're going on 7-8 years ago. They switched it. They built a new school, and they just bought all new equipment, all new desks and stuff. So it wasn't like they had to move all the old stuff. I mean, some stuff they moved a little at a time, piecemeal, but they mostly had everything ready to go for the students. It's not like they moved. Everything was kind of new. All the desks were new, and so I remember when I went to Central Junior High in Quincy, the desks were like from the 20s. They were old.
And then it will be interesting to see the process of the demolition of the old school as well.
Oh, that'll go fast.
When they start
goes
that.
fast. Demolition they'll come in with some 2 or 3 big excavators, and they'll just start. It's mostly brick, and they'll bring some big 40-yard dumpsters in, and all the rubbish part of it, all the construction debris, the wood and glass and stuff like that. They'll put in 40-yard dumpsters and truck them out, or even tractor trailer dumpsters. And then the brick, they'll all knock over, or they'll haul it away, or they'll crush it up and make material out of it. Sometimes when they do demo, when places do demos, they bring crushers in for the concrete and cement, and they crush it on site. It saves big time on the truck and on the bulk, and then they sell it. They sell the material to people.
So we'll keep you updated on the new high school throughout the next couple of months. We're about a little less than 6 months away from it being completed.
That'd be wonderful for the kids. Will love that.
It looks amazing. It's
You know what?
An amazing school.
It would be a good treat too for when kids come back after leaving school, coming back to a new school, and hopefully when they do go back, things are on their way to be relatively normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hope the hybrid model works. We talked about that last week.
Yes.
Opening of the school. I think it will. I think the town of Middleboro has a common sense approach to everything they do. They're not out there like some towns. But like I said last week, Middleboro has a common sense approach to things. They always have. Just by living in the town, seeing how they operate, I don't see anything that's. I never scratch my head. Everything's like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense too. Even all your teachers were great. I mean, I know it was a couple you didn't care for, but in their own way, they were all right too, right?
Yeah.
Each just was a personality thing, but you'd say what, 85%, 90% of your teachers,
probably about 90%.
You loved them all.
Yeah.
There was a couple, maybe, right?
Yeah.
There's always a couple.
There's always a couple with kids.
Right,
yes.
but they were still all right people. They were good teachers.
Yes.
Altogether, it was just I think it was just a personality conflict between you and the teacher.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens, but
yeah.
I mean, when you went to school, the school department, from kindergarten. Well, if you didn't go in kindergarten, it was second grade or something. No, first grade, right?
Yes.
Second grade, okay. They couldn't do enough for you. The nurse was awesome. Everyone made sure you were happy, especially at high school. Everyone was great. Everyone liked you. It was a great place. When I went to a couple of assemblies at the high school, I was just like floored at how they ran everything.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, these people are good.
The high school is run by some great people.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So, hooray for Middleboro, I think.
Yeah. The entire public school system is
It's
really
been
well
a great
run.
experience. altogether
Yes.
as a parent and as a student. Middleboro public school systems are awesome. I've talked to friends of mine thinking about buying a house or whatever. I says, move to Middleboro. School systems are awesome. They could not do enough for Joey. They were the best teachers. They made sure you had everything. They cared. They called the house when we had teacher parent meetings. They were great. There was plenty of opportunity. You got what you wanted. You got into TV production, right?
Yes.
And you really dropped the ball on the application. Not to throw another bus on the air, but you kind of dropped the ball on the application process.
Yes, I could have started
You know what I
freshman
mean?
year.
I was just looking for
Yes.
something, and you didn't want to put the paperwork in, and you didn't get in that first year. But you did. You got in 2 years out of it, right?
Yes.
And how was that? How was that class? First of all, TV production. Just tell us about TV production a little bit, not to get off.
TV production was really, really fun. You get to do a lot of filming. You get to learn the editing aspect of things as well, which I have a hard time with still. But it was really fun trying to learn editing. But really, my favorite part was just going out in the field and shooting product and getting product out to people to watch, people to watch on YouTube, on TV,
Right.
as well. So
And there was a show. What was the name of the show?
Listen Up.
And you were on that. You hosted it one time, right?
I did host it one time. I did, yes.
Okay.
And that was the March of 2017 episode. You can find that on the Middleboro Educational Television YouTube page. I believe it's still up. It was still up when I checked it, so
Right.
that's been a couple weeks ago. So I believe it's still up. I think everything is still
Right.
up.
And
that year.
And what you did for TV production too, as far as you did a tennis tournament, and you put some music to it.
I did, yes.
What was that? Tell us about that.
That was the Ecstasy of Gold, I believe it was called.
And what's that?
That is
People don't
from the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay, that's
Yes.
the name of the song by who?
By I'm not 100% sure who it's from. I gotta look it up.
You just forgot his
It's
name.
I forgot his name. It's a
Yeah.
little hard to pronounce.
I'm sure you can look it up later.
I'll look it up later, but it's a little hard to pronounce.
But-
But Ecstasy of Gold, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
So that was all you edited with the music. You put all that together,
yeah.
and then that went out on the MBT station, right?
That went out on TV.
Right. And you were doing that almost at the same time you were working for
MatCam.
MatCam.
I
So you were getting the best of both worlds.
yes, I've had some things with MatCam that have went on the air as well.
You were lucky to get in with MatCam when you did, because I think a lot of students were looking. I know you had a lot of classmates from PU production worked with you in MatCam,
Yeah.
but you were there. I think you went MatCam before you even started TV production, right?
Yeah. I've had kids who worked on TV production in high school
Right.
who are now working at MatCam. Yes.
So that was a great opportunity, working for MatCam, TV production, and then now you're here at WVBF, working here for 3 years.
Yeah.
A little over 3 years. So you work your way up.
The show's been on for 16 months, and
Right.
this is episode 72 or 3, I believe, of Middleboro in Review. I'm not 100% sure what episode it is, but
Bravo to you, because you didn't sit on the couch, because we went and we sat in on those Board of Selectmen meetings at the very beginning. So stayed late. You worked TV production. You signed up for TV production. And I remember one, I think it was 2017. The Lions Club was doing an auction at the high school. Was it the Lions Club, or who was it that for? You know what I'm saying? It was.
Yeah.
They had the auction. Maybe it was for the Lions Club or something like that. But you had an option to either do the sound for the school, which Mr. Pelletier,
Yep.
or work it and get paid for MatCam, and you chose to do the sound. which was funny because I'm sitting there at the auction, and I'm sitting there watching your boss and your teacher, and both, so because Matt Cam was filming too, so it was great that you could grab, you can grab any hat, you can grab both the hats if you wanted. You could have a Matt Cam hat on, or you have an MET hat on.
Yeah.
You were representing both of them.
Yeah.
Not many people could do that. You were. You had a choice in the matter. You just said, I want to. Mr. Pelletier wanted you to do sound, and you did the sound.
Yeah.
Which was good because Mr. Pelletier needed you to do the sound. But it's funny, you could have got paid for that. That's just no. That's great. I mean, you're young, and I think what you've done as far as your career and keeping going, and Middleboro gave you those opportunities. Middleboro.
Yes,
The
Middleboro.
school system, MacCam, just the good people going out of their way. They didn't have to. They didn't have to go out of their way. They didn't have to give you a break.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
They could have said, "Beat it, kid," but they didn't. And they were kind to you, and they taught you, and they went out of their way for you, and that's something you never forget.
Yeah, and I keep learning, I keep evolving.
Right.
From episode 1 of this show, I was.
So when you get that nationwide syndicated show, in a few years.
Yeah.
It's Middleboro. You got to thank Middleboro.
Yeah.
Because they made it all happen for you. They're the ones who put you on the stepping stone.
Yeah.
They were the ones who went out of the way for you. They were the ones who were kind to you.
Yeah.
So that's what Middleboro is to me.
Absolutely. That's really important.
Just the people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not one bad egg at all.
Yeah.
Can't find one.
Yeah. I remember episode 1 of this radio show. I was nervous, stumbling over my words.
I was sitting here, and I couldn't say nothing because I didn't ask Tony if I could pipe in.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, I got to ask Tony. Tony's the boss. You got to ask Tony. I can't just pipe in. So I'm sitting there watching it, but you did all right.
Yeah.
And I say, Tony, is it all right if I sit in with him? And he said, absolutely. But
I was 99% of the show just reading articles. It was a tough first episode.
Yeah, genuine dumpster fire.
But 70-something episodes later,
it helps.
And we're almost to episode 100, which will be March 7th, 2021. By the way, I checked.
Okay.
I believe that's the date, or it will be the 14th or the 21st. I know I did miss 1 or 2 weeks in there because I didn't air a show.
Right.
But I believe it'll be March 7th will be the 100th episode of my program.
And there's great weekend shows here. I mean, there's great shows,
There's a lot. There's all the great shows on. Every show is a great show on this radio station.
But the weekends are really special around here.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. All right, so we got
a little left hook there, huh?
It is 7:28 a.m. here, or 9:28 in Driscoll, North Dakota, I believe, or I believe it would be the same time in Driscoll, Texas, or maybe 10:28 in Driscoll, Texas. I don't know.
No, Central.
Central, so it's the same time. It's 9:28.
It's Central and North Dakota Central.
Okay, so they're both 9:28 a.m.
No, the other way.
Oh, sorry, 5:28 a.m. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, 6.
6:20. Wait, no, 5:28. 2 hours behind, right?
No, 1 hour.
1 hour behind. Okay.
You're good, huh?
I'm sorry.
Central.
I'm bad with time
Central
zones.
Mountain
I am.
Pacific, right?
Yep.
So they're 1 hour.
Yep. I do admit I'm not great with time zones.
All right.
I'm going to admit that on the air. I'm not great with time zones.
We'll get you a time zone book, all right?
Yes, I think I need a time zone book because I'm not great with time zones. I do admit that on the air. Okay. Break.
Right.
So, you're listening to Middleboro. You're listening to Middleboro in Review. 1530 AM, 99.7 FM, WVBF. You can also listen to us on TuneIn. Search WVBF 1530 AM. You'll find us anytime. And on the Audio Now number, I forgot to say the Audio Now number the past couple of weeks, but the Audio Now number 605-562-7958. That's another way to listen to us. Also, another way to listen to us is the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, Middleboro in Review. I made that a couple of weeks ago. I am slowly uploading all the episodes to the YouTube channel as well, so as they come in and as they are uploaded, you'll get a notification if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also on the Facebook page as well. The Facebook page is a good way to also listen to us as well. So, 7:30, let's take a quick break, and we will be right back here on Middleboro in Review. When we come back, we're going to talk about the MBTA Red Line trains, or the new Red Line trains that they're going to be rolling out this fall. We'll be right back. Okay.
That's a lot.
I need to get a time zone book. A bad at time zones. Really bad.
Yeah, well, west. The sun comes up in the east, right?
Okay. I gotta remember that. I'm not great at it. I don't know. Alright.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair and complete auto
There's an
service.
Atlantic time zone?
They are a direct repair shop for all
Okay.
major insurance companies. You can
that's
reach
mine.
them at
That's mine.
508-583-1495. They're open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and 8 to 4 on Friday.
I wasn't drinking your iced
Call
coffee.
them today. You will not be
I didn't
disappointed.
touch your iced coffee.
508-583-1495.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle
It's hard to tell, though.
Association
That's
is
kind
an
of hard to tell
association
which iced
of
coffee
combat
is yours.
veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who
What
ride
is it, cream cheese in it?
motorcycles as a hobby.
What I thought.
Our mission is to support those who have defended our
They look
country
good.
and freedoms.
So I'm like,
Our
I want
focus
to try
is
this.
to help veteran care facilities provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home. We have members from nearly all 50 states and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in our armed forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate.
Probably have to take another break at
in
7:45
charity
a.m.
events each year. And as a non-profit organization,
We'll talk about the
various
MBTA thing and then we'll
veteran
take
care
another break.
facilities and veteran charities. To learn more
Think
about
of
the
it,
Combat
Trump.
Veteran Motorcycle
What?
Association and how you can join or support,
Could do that.
please visit CV.
'Cause I want to try to get to Sacco and Vanzetti too. I want to get to that. But that.
Hi, this is Jim Larkin.
Well, don't die on now.
2 o'clock here on WBBF, the sounds of the Emerald Isle.
No,
We have
we're
some
not
great
gonna be
Irish music, some folk,
too long on the
traditional,
tape.
Country
Right,
and
we should.
contemporary.
We're
And
just
sometimes
gonna
some live singers
talk
in the
about it
studio.
a little bit.
And to make you laugh,
The new
sometimes
trains.
comedy. That's Sundays from noon to 2 right here on WBBF 1530 Taunton, Middleborough, and on the internet
play
at
Spark Street?
I did.
towntalkradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Brown, inviting you to tune in to Talkin' Birds, a show about wild birds, birding, and
I owe
conservation
you that,
right
Chuck.
here on WBBF.
What?
I owe you that,
Broadcasting
Chuck.
from the Taunton Federal
Yeah,
Credit
before we
Union
leave
studios
today.
At 14
No
Church
problem.
Street.
I'll
Join us
just-
for
Just leave it here on the desk or
and
something.
fun
I'll put it
information
in
about
there's a
birds
mailbox
and birding. It's
near the-
Talkin' Birds,
next to the
Saturday
door.
mornings at
Yeah,
8,
yeah.
I'm just gonna put it
Sunday
there.
mornings at 9, here on WVBF, AM 1530 and 99.7 FM.
Just tell Mike you had it. It's just you would give it over, but you end up mailing you a check anyway. So
Alright, no problem. Alright. MBTA time. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review for the 23rd of August. So the MBTA is now testing the new Red Line trains that are going to be coming out, and they're going to be coming out this fall. So they have started to test them. So the first train in a new Red Line fleet was taken for a test run this week, and officials said it went off without a hitch. The train operated between Braintree and Alewife stations for about 3 hours Wednesday night. An MBTA spokesman said engineers reported nothing out of the ordinary with the train during the test. The first of 252 new Red Line cars, which will extend the fleet by 34, will start running this fall. All new Red Line vehicles are expected to be in service by the year 2023. Each car will have more handrails, larger interiors, wider doors, LED lighting systems, new visual and audio door opening and closing warnings, along with other new communications systems and 2 more accessibility areas. The new vehicles are a part of the MBTA's 5-year capital investment program. Through the program, which started in July of 2018, the MBTA said it will spend $8 billion to rebuild subway lines, modernize fare collecting systems, remodel stations, and make other improvements to bus, subway, and ferry service. So that sounds like that's going to be a very good thing for the Red Line. A lot of new technology that is being built and new trains for the MBTA, which is really a good thing. Your thoughts, Don?
I saw those trains. They've been sitting at the Broadway yard where they park all the maintenance, and that's where they park most of their Red Line trains over in South Boston. They're nice. I mean, they're shiny. It's good that they said everything went good because they had such problems with the new Orange Line cars, which are, I'm not sure if they're built at the same plant, but they had terrible, terrible situations with that. They just kept taking them out of service. So let's hope they get these ones right. You know what's funny about the new Red Line train cars is the last time they put a new train car for Red Line in service, they started around '94, and they started phasing. They phase them in over years. You said they're gonna phase them up to 2023. These new ones, right? They do the same thing. They did the same thing for the 94 batches to 98 or something like that, 99, and anybody that rides knows. And then you got the older ones that they started those, and the one that derailed last year, a couple of years ago. Was it last year? It was last year.
Yeah.
That was 1969. There was like a 10-year span. Those rail cars were put into service. But before that, they had the old 1940s rail car, the Rattlers. I grew up next to the Red Line track in Quincy, so I heard them all night long, back and forth. I mean, it's just you just block them out.
Yeah.
And but those old Red Line cars, and they every time there was snow and ice when I was growing up in the late '70s, early '80s, those were the only cars that would run because they could go through the ice and the snow. They were battle wagons. Those old trains. They kept them around because they could handle the snow. They could handle the ice because they were heavier. So I remember that every time it snowed or rained, you never seen in the newer Red Line cars, which were that time 10 years old or 8 years old, depending. They're big. They give you a design and they keep dropping them in, but sometimes the interiors change. You know the newer ones, but the outside is the same style, and then they come with another style in the '90s, and now they gotta have a brand new style, these brand new ones. But always in the winter, these older ones. So it just goes to show that the older technology wasn't so bad because they had to pull it out every time there was a bad snowstorm. And the trains were 45 years old in 1979,
Yeah.
1980.
Yeah.
Well, they were built in the late 30s and early 40s, through the 40s, maybe to the 50s, those style of trains.
All right, so if we have any new information about the Red Line, or any new information about really anything that we've talked about when it comes to the MBTA and the rails, over the past couple of weeks, I know we've been very good talking about anything when it comes to trains over the past couple of weeks. I know we've had, this is our 4th straight week of having something related to rail. And we'll try to continue that streak next week. We'll try to have something for next week as well. So, if we have any more information, we will report it here on Middleboro in Review. So, let's move on. Let's talk about two men. And the names of these two men are Sacco and Vanzetti. Now, this happened in the 20s. This particular event happened in the 20s. And we're going to talk about it now. Sacco and Vanzetti, defendants in a controversial murder trial in Massachusetts, 1921 to 1927, that resulted in their executions. The trial resulted from the murders in South Braintree, Massachusetts, on April 15th, 1920, of F.A. Parmenter, paymaster of a shoe factory, and Alessandro Baradelli, the guard accompanying him, in order to secure the payroll that they were carrying. On May 5th, Sacco and Vanzetti, 2 Italian anarchists who had immigrated to the United States in 1908, one a shoemaker and the other a fish peddler, were arrested for the crime. On May 31st, 1921, they were brought to trial before Judge Webster Thayer of the Massachusetts Superior Court, and on July 14th, both were found guilty by verdict of the jury. Socialists and radicals protested the men's innocence. Many people felt the trial had been less than fair and that the defendants had been convicted for their radical anarchist beliefs rather than for the crime for which they had been tried. All attempts for retrial on the grounds of false identification failed. November 18th, 1925, Celestino Medeiros, then under a sentence for murder, confessed that he had participated in the crime with the Joe Morelli gang. The state Supreme Court refused to upset the verdict because at the time the trial judge had the final power to reopen a case on the grounds of additional evidence. The 2 men were sentenced to death on April the 9th, 1927. A storm of protest rose with mass meetings throughout the nation, and Governor Alvin T. Fuller appointed an independent advisory committee consisting of A. Lawrence Lowell of Harvard University, Samuel Stratton of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Robert Grant, a former judge. On August the 3rd, 1927, the governor refused to exercise his power of clemency. His advisory committee agreed with this stand. Demonstrations proceeded in many cities throughout the world, and bombs were set off in New York City and Philadelphia. Sacco and Vanzetti, still maintaining their innocence, were executed on August 23rd, 1927. 1927, which today is August 23rd, 2020. They were executed 93 years ago today. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. What are your thoughts on that, Don?
Well, this state has never really been a big believer, the people of the state mostly, even back then, haven't really been big believers of capital punishment. Obviously, we don't have it in the state. I can't even remember the last time someone was executed in Massachusetts. I think you gotta go back to the 50s or something like that. I mean, other states do it to this day, Texas, Florida, California, I think they did it until, I don't know, when they did it, the late 70s maybe. Oh, but I mean, I can't even remember the last time there was capital punishment happened here in Massachusetts. So, people are torn. People are torn about what, I don't know. Some people think, if you take someone's life, your life should be taken. Other people don't feel that way. And you said all the protests were for them. It was support of those two individuals, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, just goes to show this state has a history of not favoring capital punishment, even 100 years ago. So, that's my thoughts on that.
All right, so we're going to take another quick break. And when we return, we're going to talk a little bit about the NHL playoffs, the second round, which got underway last night. Dallas Stars versus the Chicago Avalanche were last night. The Bruins are on to the second round. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we return here on Middleboro in Review. We will be right back. 15:30 a.m., 99.7 FM, WVBF. All right. Good.
Well, like I said, WVBF.
Gotta make sure people know the call letters and make sure that they type them in.
You said it really coolly, like, what's his name?
Yeah, it's important to be precise because you gotta make sure people know what to do.
WVBF is
Where
your
to find you.
hometown radio station. And one of the things we like to do to support people in your hometown is to run community announcements. If you do belong to a nonprofit group or organization, or if you're an official with a city or town government, send your community announcements along to our email address. It's safe, it's fast, and allows us to get right back to you if we have a question. Send your community announcements to WVBF1530@hotmail.com. That's WVBF1530.
It's been 78 years since the start of the Battle of Stalingrad.
Thank you for listening.
One of the most bloodiest battles in the war.
It is AM 1530, WVBF, and 99.7 FM.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby. Our mission is to support those who have defended our country and freedoms. Our focus is to help veteran care facilities provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home. We have members from nearly all 50 states and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in our armed forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year, and as a nonprofit organization, donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
If you are 75 years or older and suffer from food insecurity, the St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry is here to help. We serve the families of Middleboro, Lakeville, Harvard, and Rochester.
Chris did.
Please leave a message on the pantry hotline at
No, when this was recorded, when this was brought to Chris.
Back to gather some needed information. Obtain your desired list of groceries.
He's the master.
These will be collected for you and delivered to your home free of charge. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
Many employees unable to work because
I
of
work in
COVID-19 related
on
reasons may be able to take up to 2
It'll be
weeks
done.
of paid
It'll be
sick
done
leave
tomorrow.
and up to 10 more weeks of paid leave.
It'll be done.
for their
I'll
children
record
whose
both of those
places
tomorrow.
of care have closed or whose daycare providers are unavailable. To find out if you qualify, visit dol.gov/FFCRA or call a trained professional at 866-4US-WAGE. This message is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor.
Alright, we're back here on Middleboro Review. Playoff hockey. This is a fun time of the year when it comes to the NHL. Usually, playoff hockey is not in August, but it is this year. And the NHL playoffs are always a fun time because there's so many great teams who get in, and the last couple of days have been even more exciting because we get to see a new champion. The Capitals and the Blues were defeated in the first round. They were sent home. Those were the last 2 Stanley Cup titles. The 2 Stanley Cup champions, in the Blues being in 2019 and the Capitals being in 2018. So we will not see a repeat or another title from them this year. So we will see a winner who has not won in a while, or who has not won at all. The teams who have not won at all, Vancouver is in there. The Canucks have not won a Stanley Cup. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, the newest team on the scene, believe this is their 3rd or 4th year in existence. They have made the playoffs every single year of their existence, and this is definitely their best shot at winning a Stanley Cup this year. They are in I would say, a little bit of a weaker Western Conference. The Eastern Conference is wide open, but we'll get to the Eastern Conference in just a second. I like Las Vegas to go to the Stanley Cup, to be in the final. The other team I like to be in the Stanley Cup Finals is the Bruins. I think the Bruins have the team to do it, even though that they did lose Tuukka Rask. Tuukka Rask left the bubble, but we still have a great goalie in net, and we have a veteran team as well. We will be facing a very, very tough test in Tampa Bay. The Lightning will definitely give us some problems. They're a tough team, but the healthiness of our team, I think, will pull us to victory in 7. I think this is going to be a 7-game series. Tampa doesn't have one very important player, and that is Steven Stamkos. If Tampa had Steven Stamkos, we would be talking about a Tampa victory, I think. Tampa, if they had Steven Stamkos, would probably put him over the top to beat us and possibly even win a Stanley Cup this year. But I'm not sure what's going on with that particular player. Not sure if he's injured. He has not played yet. He is in the bubble with his team, but he has not played yet. So we'll see what happens in that series. The Lightning versus the Bruins are going to be an interesting series to watch. But right now, my prediction, and this is not a final prediction. This is just what I see that could probably happen, is the Bruins and the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Final, which sounds like a very, very good Stanley Cup Final. I also wouldn't be mad at seeing the Canucks versus the Bruins again. I think that'd be a fun series as well. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see over the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I think the Bruins win this series in 7, just due to Tampa not having one of their best players, and also Boston having the veteran leadership as well. So we'll follow that over the next couple of weeks, and we'll give you updates to the Boston series. The Boston series starts tonight against Tampa. So let's talk a little bit about today in history. AD 79. This is one of the oldest today in histories that I've had really on this show. AD 79. Mount Vesuvius begins stirring on the feast day of Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. And of course, Mount Vesuvius would erupt that same year, and it would destroy the city of Pompeii. 1927, and we've already talked about this, Italian anarchists Sacco and Vanzetti are executed after a lengthy, controversial trial. 1942, World War II, beginning of the Battle of Stalingrad, one of the bloodiest battles in the war of World War II. 1973, a bank robbery gone wrong in Stockholm, Sweden, turns into a hostage crisis. Over the next 5 days, the hostages begin to sympathize with their captors, leading to the term Stockholm Syndrome. 1975, the iconic Pontiac Silverdome opens in Pontiac, Michigan, 30 miles northwest of Detroit. Birthdays for today: Roger Greenway, English singer, songwriter, and producer. Born in 1938, he turns 82 today. Keith Moon, he would have been 74 today. English drummer, songwriter, and producer. Kobe Bryant, American basketball player for the Lakers, would have turned 42 today. And deaths on this day: Jerry Nelson, American puppeteer and voice actor. He has appeared as several characters on Sesame Street. And he passed away on August 23rd, 2012. He played many characters on Sesame Street and The Muppet Show as well. And he was also in some of the movies as well. Really good voice actor. We lost him 8 years ago today. So Don, any thoughts about any of the Today in History's birthdays or deaths that we talked about?
I love The Muppet Show. You ever watch reruns of that?
I watched Sesame Street. I did not watch The Muppet Show.
Show was awesome. I love The Muppet Show. And that was great. I mean, my favorite character is Animal. He's the drummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my brother had a T-shirt that had Animal. And I guess he was advertising Slingerland drums, I guess. It was for Slingerland. I hope I'm getting it right. I think that's a drum company or whatnot. But he's my favorite. I like Fozzie. Everybody. Kermit. You gotta love Kermit.
Kermit, yes.
But Sesame Street, you have...
The Count, which...
Count.
is really cool.
Oscar the Grouch.
Yes.
They're all great.
I believe Jerry Nelson did voice the Count.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
As many other characters as well.
Right.
So.
And also, too, on a separate note, too, when I was, remember Schoolhouse Rock?
I do.
Those were great. I looked up some of the people who sang, what was the song? Conjunction Junction was the song they did.
Yep.
And I forgot the guy's name, but he was just like a jazz guy. And they take like people from the jazz era or whatnot who did these songs, and they were really professional musicians. They were well-known people. And there was just so much of it. And I know they kept it going, but just the originals are great.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite one, Conjunction Junction, What's Your Function?
All right.
I'm not going to start singing though.
All right, we got to go. 8 o'clock. Stay tuned for Bread of Life with Pastor Ortez Bancross coming up at 8 o'clock, along with many, many other great programs here on this Sunday morning and afternoon here on WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week, the August 30th edition of Middleboro in Review. Bye-bye, everybody. Good.
Not bad for a non-scripted show, huh?
That was good. That was good. I'm telling you, that was really good.
Broadcasting live from the Taunton Federal Credit Union Studios.
I might go move that oil truck now. I don't know.
What?
I might go move that oil truck now. I might not. I don't know.
All right, no problem.
If I run a little late, I'll text you. You just got to camp out, all right?
It's fine. I can't out. I'm fine. I'm good with that. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good day.